Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, back with another review of the cancelled Eurovision 2020. And today I'm putting my focus on everyone's favourite island in the Mediterranean that isn't Malta, that takes part in the little country Olympics whose name escapes me at the moment. I'm talking about Cyprus. And, oh, I'm just getting word now that, yes, really? We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Not of Eurovision, we have a winner of Eurovision, but you know what we do have a winner of? The Don't Send Fuego 3 years in a row challenge. This calls for a costume change. So, this year, Cyprus had been planning on sending one Mr. Alessandro H. Rutten, also known as Sandro Nicholas, and he was born literally 2 days before me, and I'm kind of shooketh by this revelation. But yes, his song is called Running, and it is not a reggaeton clone of Fuego. Can I get a hoy yas? Did I mention he was born 2 days before me? Because, oh my goodness. Anyway, the song is fully in English, music and lyrics by Alfie Arcuri or Artsuri, I'm not entirely sure of the origins there, Sebastian Metzner Ricards, Octavian Racinariu, and Sandro Nicholas, with Teo DK Donkey Kong. I can't not, it's DK, I have to say it. Getting an additional composing credit, but not lyrics credit. So, yeah, that's a fairly big team, so do they have much to show for it? Well, it's not Fuego, so yes. No, but all jokes aside, literally I'm just saying this because Replay was literally a replay of it. Tess, let it go. It's been a year. Let's start looking at this song, and not songs from the past. In hindsight, this is exactly the kind of song that I would have expected from Finland last year when they had Darude at the helm. And the electronic dance scene, broadly speaking, was a large part of my musical landscape growing up, so this is exactly the sort of thing that I actually personally vibe with. Also, as if this even needs highlighting again, it's something different! Cyprus has finally let Fuego go. It's had its moment. I'm not saying that it was a bad song, because it wasn't, it's just I'm glad that Cyprus has let it go instead of desperately scrambling to recapture it again. I won't let that factor into my judgment of this song though, it's just, we can't live in Eleni's shadow forever. So yeah, this is a fun little bop, and one that I would expect to hear in clubs across Europe, or at least across the Mediterranean, you know, wherever Brits Abroad trademark tend to go on holiday. On that basis, the UK would have been bound to enjoy this song, provided it had reached the final in the first place. So, one step at a time, let's take a moment to think about what Cyprus had going in its favour before the bottom fell out of this year's contest. Thinking about it in really broad strokes, we tend not to get this sort of music at Eurovision. That is to say, it's absolutely the perfect archetype of music found, like I said, in nightclubs and the like across the sunnier, holiday resortier parts of Europe. And it's a massive industry. I mean, let's not mince words here. Not to mention, it's a massive scene unto itself. It's an entire subculture almost. So it's great to see this genre getting some honest representation. And I do mean honest representation. This doesn't feel like it's trying to cash in on the club scene or anything. It feels like a sincere contribution to the market. It doesn't feel cynical, basically. It is its own beast and it's not getting there by piggybacking off anything else. Now, because of how music like this is intended to be quote-unquote used, so to speak, the genre tends to deal more strongly in feelings rather than specific words when it comes to lyrics, and Cyprus absolutely delivers in achieving all the emotional beats that the song is going for. It's all right there, plain as day, in the key and the arrangement as far as the music is concerned, and in the melody and the balance of head and chest voice, and the calculated emotional strain in Sandro's vocals when it comes to the vocal aspect. I think that success there is what makes it so genuine to my ears. It may not have the best lyrics in the world, but it still gets the feeling across, musically and, well, vocally. I use these words so much, but it's because they're appropriate. What does help, though, I suppose, is that neither the composition nor the performance are overcomplicated for what they're trying to achieve. At no point does this song feel overblown, or as if it's trying to overcompensate for the slight vapidity that does just naturally come as part and parcel of this genre. And, equally crucially, it doesn't feel like it's taking itself disproportionately seriously either. to sound super draconian and cruel, this song knows its place. And that lack of subversion is actually honestly pleasing to the ear. It's refreshingly normal for what it's trying to be. Well, assuming that any of this makes sense to literally anyone apart from me at this point. Okay, well, here's something that everyone definitely can identify with. The song's big finish of sorts. In the last 40 seconds or so, Sandro goes in for a big, prominent note to underscore the, hey, enjoy this part of the song because it's the last time you'll hear it before I gotta go, 3 minutes, bye-bye. And that's the absolute ideal way of tying this song together. It commands attention, it keeps the arrangement fresh after however many repeats of the drop, and it showcases his vocal range, it showcases his emotional range, and it plays into that notion I mentioned before of the genre specializing in feelings more than anything else. It feels like a natural culmination of the feelings the song wishes to evoke, that not quite longing, but you've heard the song, or if you haven't, then why are you watching this review? Go and listen to the song, form your own opinions, goodness me. But all in all, this would have been a great note to come back to the contest on after finally escaping the Tierra del Fuego. Here's hoping Cyprus doesn't relapse next year. Still, just because this isn't a replay of Fuego, no more replays believe it or not, that doesn't give it a free pass to escape critique here. I give that treatment to every song, this isn't any special exception. For instance, in my opinion, I have a ever so slight issue with the melody of the hook. The part where he sings in prominent head voice. The whole keep on running, that part is fine as an augmentation to the dance drop as a whole, but the fact that it's literally just a repetition of exactly how it appears in the refrain makes it sound redundant to me. That's an easy enough fix though. If the iteration of that line was twice as long when it appears in the refrain, with a second lyric, keep on running something something, rather than just the same words over and over, then the cut from the drop, where it is just keep on running, that would sound like a logical abbreviation instead of just another repeat. And it would be a lot more effective as a result, in my opinion. On a more general note, while the song nails the feelings it's going for, as I've reiterated several times already, the lyrics are rather pedestrian, to be honest. That's fairly standard for this genre, sure, but this song took 4 people to compose and an extra 5th person to help out along the way. No offense, but how? Especially considering that, for instance, the Netherlands' song was written by a grand total of 2 people. Is it selfish of me to say that seeing so many people receiving write credits for a single song led me to expect more than this? It just feels a little bit insulting. Hey, here's a team of 5 people, and the song is alright. Really? Now, to zero back in on another instance of what I was talking about before, the line about being tired of running from these demons, again, the fact that it's delivered twice in rapid succession, anytime it comes up, it's repeated twice. That reduces the effectiveness of the lyric. It's an okay line. It'll be decent, if a little bit played out by now. But having it drilled into me in rapid succession every time... You see, I've said rapid succession just as many times. I feel like that's beginning to lose its effectiveness. Just to demonstrate what I'm saying here, it loses basically all of its impact. And again, from a team that size, I kind of expect better, just instinctively. I already said, lyrics are kind of a means to an end in this genre. As long as the feeling is communicated, that's fine. And it succeeds in that regard. But I mean, come on. I'm still free to say, I don't like that I'm left with a feeling that more could have been done. That feels reasonable to me, and it's reasonable for you too. So, with all of that out in the open, how would I rate this song? Personally, I would say 8 out of 10. This song turns up, does what it has to do without tripping over itself, and then leaves just as neatly as it arrived, and I respect that. As I said earlier, I grew up on this type of music alongside hardcore rave, rock and metal. Yeah, I had a bit of a journeyed childhood when it came to music, what of it? So one might expect me to be really forgiving towards this one. The truth is, I'm okay with what it's aiming to do. It's just on the good side of middling compared to other music of this genre. I suppose I'm somewhat burned out by all of the cheaper imitations of this sort of thing that they play on the radio nowadays, where they try to recapture the sound of this era and fail. And to Sandro's credit, at least this song isn't irritating in that regard. It's much more genuine. A lot of the ones in the charts are just cheap cash-ins. This feels more honest than that, but still, given the choice, I'd probably rather listen to, like, Breathe by Jax Jones or something to get the same fix. Technical-wise, meanwhile, another 8. As I previously stated, composition-wise, it's on the top end of, it's not inherently forgettable, by any means, and I already said that it pays excellent homage to its musical roots, more so than most attempts at this kind of music, especially the populist ones that the radio is really trying to push. Bonus points for doing so whilst fitting right in with the actual honest-to-goodness current club scene zeitgeist. And I've already said plenty about Sandro's capacity for vocal proficiency, varied emotional timbre, and just generally playing his part in capturing the intended mood of the overall piece. I just find myself capping out at an 8 as opposed to anything higher, because it is another chewing gum for the mind, chewing gum for the feet sort of song, where you can bop along to it when it's on, and you'll have a great time, but it doesn't do much to distinguish itself from the dime a dozen other songs of this kind, other than it being a bit more sincere than its competitors. Not that that really matters at Eurovision, much less a Eurovision that won't even happen anyway, since, it wasn't competing against other songs of this kind anyway, so the shortcomings of other songs don't really stand out compared to this. I make sense in my head, believe it or not. So, with all of that on the table, was this a good move for Cyprus, regardless of whether or not it actually gets to compete? Absolutely! Another internal selection resulting in the nomination of a talented artist who is proven to be a more than capable performer in multiple regards. Yeah, that's great, that's good. Keep doing that as you have been for several years now, Cyprus. The fact that Cyprus isn't going for a three-peat of Fuego, Fuego, and more Fuego? Priceless. Finally something different. I'd be more forgiving towards Replay, but it was just so flagrant in what it was trying to do. At least here, Cyprus is visibly branching out in genre, style, rhythm, message, all of it. Perhaps Tamta's disappointing result last year was the wake-up call CYBC needed about getting that kind of complacent in the first place. Who knows? But as I said, I just hope that Cyprus doesn't fall back into bad habits next year. Fuego came second. Stop trying to use its ghost to repeat that result. Earn it. Don't just copy yourself. It's embarrassing. So that being said, would this have qualified? Honestly, it's kind of a tough call to make. Cyprus was drawn to compete in semi-final 1, which puts it squarely out of the reach of Greece and the UK, both of whom would otherwise have been likely to vote for it for cultural reasons. No, not political reasons, cultural reasons. It is not a difficult concept. Let's not have that discussion again, okay? I'd like to think we're all past that. On the other hand, though, Sandro was born in Germany, so his style may well have resonated with the German voters who were drawn to vote in semi-final 1, so even if you're going to make the cultural vote argument, there's nothing but, it's not political is the point I'm getting at. Then again, semi-final 1 was the super hyper-competitive one in the eyes of the fandom, so unless there was something super compelling about the live performance and the delivery, it may have been lost in the wake of the heavy hitters in that particular show. But then again, this is sort of the only song of this particular kind in the entire 2020 roster, so it almost definitely would have stood out for better or for worse. On one hand, Cyprus has been a consistent finalist in recent years, and I feel like this wouldn't be any exception. On the other, Actual Darude sent an Actual Darude song last year and came last in the semi-final, so I think it could easily have gone either way. We'll never know. So, do you think differently? Can you change my mind? I would like to hear what you think. If you can change my mind, I welcome that. So as always, comments, iCard, do you like the song? Do you not? Do you feel neutral? It's all valid here. Let's have a conversation. And now, I would wish Cyprus the very best of luck at Eurovision 2020, but that's not happening. So, I don't know offhand if Sandro is going to be internally selected for Cyprus again next year to make up for it. If he is, then good luck to him next year. If not, then, well, good luck to Cyprus next year in general, provided they don't do last year was a slap in the face. Let's not mince words here. So next year, as long as it's not Replay 2, the reignited song, I think we'll be good.